Have you ever been hurt? Not because someone betrayed you, but because they didn't meet the expectations you built in your own mind. You gave your heart, your time, your trust, believing they would give the same in return, but they didn't. And that quiet disappointment felt worse than any loud betrayal. If you've been there, then what I'm about to tell you might just save you from a lifetime of repeated pain. Before we start, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video, because the truth I'm about to share could change not just your relationships, but your entire love life and peace of mind. And I promise, if you stay till the end, you'll walk away with a mindset so unshakable, no one's actions will ever break you again. Expectations are like invisible contracts we sign with people without telling them. We silently think, if I do this for you, you'll do that for me. If I'm loyal, you'll be loyal. If I love you deeply, you'll love me back the same way. But here's the thing. Life doesn't work on these unwritten deals. The moment you start expecting someone to behave a certain way, you hand them the power to disappoint you. And when they don't live up to it, your peace shatters. I learned this lesson the hard way. Years ago, I had a friend I considered like a brother. We'd shared secrets, supported each other through hard times, laughed till sunrise. So when my life took a hard turn, I expected, without a doubt, that he'd be there. But when I needed him most, he was absent. Not a call, not a text, not a, "How are you holding up?" I felt betrayed. I felt hurt. But deep down, the pain wasn't from his absence, it was from my expectation that he should be there. And here's the truth.
He never promised me he would be.
That promise existed only in my head. Lesson number: why expectations hurt more than reality. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in love? The kind of love where your phone lights up with their name, and suddenly your entire mood changes? Where every good morning text feels like a promise that they're thinking of you first thing in the day. And every good night feels like a warm hug even from miles away? Now be honest with me. Didn't you expect it to stay that way forever? You probably told yourself, if they start my mornings with love now, they'll always do it. If they're this caring today, they'll be just as caring tomorrow. Maybe even more. And for a while they did. You smiled more. You felt safe. You even started imagining a future together because you expected their feelings to grow as yours did. But then something shifted. The good morning text came a little later. Then one day it didn't come at all. The calls got shorter. The excitement in their voice became routine. And suddenly your mind wasn't calm anymore. You were asking yourself, why aren't they the same? Did I do something wrong? Are they losing interest? Here's the truth you probably never realized. It's not the change that hurts you the most. It's the expectation you built in your head that they would never change. See, there are two kinds of pain in life. One is the pain of reality, what's actually happening. The other, and the one that really breaks you, is the pain of what you thought reality should be. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once said, "When you wake up in the morning, expect that people will disappoint you, act selfishly, and put their own interests first." Not because he wanted you to think badly of people, but because when you expect less, you stop being shocked and shattered when things don't go your way. Think about it. If you never expected that daily good morning text, you wouldn't be crushed when it stopped. If you never expected someone to always put you first, you wouldn't feel betrayed when they put themselves first. The moment you start expecting people to act in a certain way, you hand them the power to hurt you. And when they don't live up to the version of them in your mind, you feel abandoned, even if they never promised to be that way forever. So here's what I want you to remember from this. Love them, yes. Appreciate them, yes. But don't turn your appreciation into an expectation, because the less you expect, the more you'll enjoy what they choose to give. And trust me, when you stop building castles of expectation in your mind, you'll stop watching them collapse. You'll finally love without fear and live without disappointment. Lesson number 2, expectations turn love into control. Let me take you back to the early days of a relationship. You remember how it feels, right? That fresh love where every message feels like a gift. Every laugh feels like music. And every little thing they do makes you think, wow, they really care. Maybe you're thinking of someone right now. Remember that time they surprised you with your favorite snack? Or sent you a random "I miss you" in the middle of their busy day? In those moments, you didn't just feel happy, you felt secure. But then something quietly happened in your mind. You stopped seeing those gestures as gifts and started seeing them as the standard. If they brought you coffee once a week, you expected it every week. If they texted you every night before bed, you expected it every night. And here's the thing, you didn't even realize you were doing it. But slowly, without meaning to, you started keeping score. They didn't text first today? -1. They didn't notice your new haircut? -2. They didn't remember that story you told them weeks ago? Oh, now you're really upset. What was once pure love became a silent transaction. I give you this much, so you must give me that much back. But love doesn't work that way. The moment you tie love to an expectation, you turn it into a form of control. You're no longer loving them for who they are. You're loving them for what they give you. And the scariest part? You start resenting them when they don't deliver. Think about it. Have you ever been on the other side of that, where someone expected you to behave a certain way, even when it didn't feel natural anymore? Didn't it feel like pressure? Like you were being judged instead of loved? When we expect someone to constantly match our idea of how love should look, we're not giving them space to be. We're trying to mold them into the person we've created in our head. And you know what happens then? Love stops feeling like freedom. It starts feeling like a cage, not just for them, but for you too. Because every missed gesture becomes a reason for you to feel unloved, unwanted, or not enough. But here's the secret. If you remove those expectations, every act of love becomes a bonus, not a requirement. When they bring you coffee, you're genuinely grateful, not ticking off a box in your mental checklist. When they hold your hand, you feel warmth, not relief that they're keeping up. The less you expect, the more you can actually see the love they give. Not measured, not compared, just appreciated. Because real love isn't I give so you give. It's I give because I want to, and I'm grateful for whatever you choose to give in return. Lesson number 3. Expectations are just future disappointments waiting to happen. Let's play a little game. I want you to think about a time you were excited for something in your love life. Maybe it was a birthday, an anniversary, or just a special date you were sure they were planning for you. You could almost see it in your head. They'd show up with flowers, maybe take you to your favorite restaurant, maybe even surprise you with that one thing you'd been hinting at for weeks. You imagined the laughter, the pictures you'd take, the way you'd post about it with a smiling heart. And then the day came. Maybe they forgot, maybe they remembered, but it was nothing like what you'd pictured. Maybe they did something nice, but your mind said, it's not enough. You smiled on the outside, but deep down you felt disappointed. Not because the day was bad, but because it didn't match the movie you'd been playing in your head for weeks. That's what expectations do. They create a perfect little future in your imagination. And then reality, no matter how good, has to fight to live up to it. And when reality doesn't win that fight, you feel let down, even if it gave you something beautiful. It's like ordering your favorite dessert and taking the first bite already expecting it to taste perfect, only to feel a little sad that it's just okay. But here's the crazy part. If you had no expectation at all, you might have loved that exact same dessert. Expectations are just future disappointments waiting to happen. Because life and love rarely unfold exactly the way we imagine. I remember a girl I once dated. She told me, I can't wait for my next birthday. I just know you're going to make it unforgettable. Now, I did plan something special, but when the day came, I could see it in her eyes. She was comparing it to something in her mind that I didn't even know existed. I had worked hard, but I wasn't competing with reality. I was competing with her expectations. And the thing about expectations, you can lose the game without even knowing you were playing. That's why some people, no matter how much you do for them, always feel unsatisfied. Not because you didn't give enough, but because they expected more. So here's the shift. Instead of expecting, start experiencing. If you stop writing the script in your head, you give life the chance to surprise you. If you stop expecting people to act exactly as you wish, you start appreciating them for what they actually give. And in love, that's powerful. Because when you let go of the should be and accept the is, disappointment loses its grip on you. You'll stop waiting for the perfect moment and start seeing the beauty in the real one right in front of you. Lesson number 4. Freedom is the absence of expectation. Close your eyes for a moment and picture this. You're holding a balloon in your hand. It's beautiful, colorful, and you're afraid to let it go because you think you'll lose it forever. So you grip it tightly, but after a while your hand starts hurting. The tighter you hold, the more uncomfortable it gets. That balloon, that's your expectation. And the pain in your hand, that's your peace of mind being squeezed out of you slowly but surely. Now imagine letting the balloon go. It floats up away from you, but suddenly you feel lighter. Your hand is free. You can move again. That feeling, that's freedom, the kind that only comes when you stop clutching onto how things should be. I learned this in the most unexpected way. Through someone I loved deeply. We'd been together for a while, and I had all these unspoken rules in my head. How often they should call, how they should respond when I'm upset, how they should show their love in the exact way I needed, and whenever they didn't do it exactly the way I imagined, I felt hurt. Sometimes I wouldn't even tell them why, I'd just grow cold, expecting them to figure it out. It was exhausting, for both of us. I wasn't really loving them anymore, I was trying to manage them, like a project with deadlines and performance reviews. And one day, during an argument, they said, "I feel like I can't just be myself around you. I'm always trying to meet your expectations." That sentence hit me harder than any breakup ever could, because I realized they weren't free. And if they weren't free, then neither was I. Freedom in love doesn't mean detachment. It means loving without chains. It means letting someone choose how they show up for you, and appreciating it when they do. It means not measuring their love against your invisible checklist, but against the reality of their heart. When you stop expecting, you stop policing. When you stop policing, you stop feeling let down every time life doesn't match your mental picture. And here's the paradox. When you release someone from your expectations, they often give you more, not less. Because now what they give comes from a place of choice, not pressure. And love given freely is worth 10 times more than love given out of obligation. So if you're holding on tight right now to how someone should love you, how they should act, how your relationship should look, ask yourself, is my grip giving me peace, or is it stealing it? Freedom begins the day you decide, I will love what is, not what I imagine it should be. And once you do that, you'll find something beautiful. No one can disappoint you anymore because you've stopped living in a world where they're responsible for your happiness. So here's the truth we've uncovered together. Expectations are not love. They're not security. They're not hope. They're silent contracts that you write in your own mind and then hand to someone else without them even knowing. And every time they don't meet those unspoken terms, you feel pain. Not because they failed you, but because you've chained your happiness to how you thought they should behave. But life, love, people, they aren't meant to be controlled. When you stop expecting, you stop trying to script the future, and you start living in the present. You stop needing people to match a fantasy, and you start appreciating them for their reality. Think about how light you'll feel when you can say, I don't need you to act a certain way for me to be happy. I'm happy because I choose to be. That's where your freedom begins. That's where love becomes pure again. That's where your peace stops depending on anyone else's choices. So maybe, starting today, you let go of the tight grip. You let people surprise you instead of expecting them to perform for you. And you let your heart be free enough to love without keeping score. Because the moment you do, you'll stop waiting for someone else to give you peace, and you'll start living in the peace you've had within you all along. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.